Welcome to Access, my name's Nathan, and welcome to a look at 5 upcoming games heading to PS4 that can be described as Soulslike, without that being a lie. As a catch-all, Soulslike has its pros and cons, the biggest pro being that most people will know what I'm talking about, the biggest con being that lots of people will complain about it anyway. The games we're discussing today, though, are all hardcore action RPGs which have drawn inspiration in some more or less direct way from the Souls games, or other action RPGs that followed in their wake, and they're all coming to PS4. Let's take a look at what they are, what makes them different, and what they're offering. I've not arranged these titles in any particular order, but if they were arranged in a particular order, say number of hours Nathan expects to lose to this game as measured in hundreds of hours, Nioh 2 would be top. Details are thin on the ground for Team Ninja's sequel to last year's samurai-flavoured jaunt through demon-infested medieval Japan, which was announced at E3 with this teaser trailer. We don't know, for example, where or when the game is set, although Team Ninja have said that its story will connect with the original game without posing a barrier for newcomers. Thanks to player feedback, Nioh 2 will feature a fully customisable protagonist, with everything from gender and race to appearance up for grabs. And perhaps more importantly, as the teaser trailer hints, this new protagonist will be able to harness the power of the yokai, the game's monstrous demons, significantly expanding the possibilities of combat, something which Team Ninja hopes will bring the action to the next level. There's no release date for Nioh 2 yet, but Team Ninja has confirmed that there will be a free demo, like the first game's beta, to gather player feedback before release. Next we have Code Vein from Bandai Namco. We have a few gameplay videos of Code Vein on the channel already, including me killing this boss after, no joke, about 2 hours of trying. The game isn't properly balanced yet, is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Code Vein's most distinctive feature is probably its visuals. The game has a relatively bright anime-influenced look, and though the world is beset by an entropic apocalypse, just the kind the Souls games specialise in, it's still populated by bright, solid characters. Other USPs include a vampire-themed story with immortal revenants battling the corrupted Lost for control of the world. The game also has an AI co-op system where one of these revenants, with their own powers and backstories, can accompany the customizable hero during the game. And in terms of gameplay, perhaps the biggest difference are the game's gifts, a system of up to 8 vampiric powers including buffs, attacks and healing spells for your partner, which are available to our hero and are powered by Ichor, blood you've harvested from enemies. Code Vein is now set for release in 2019, and we're looking forward to seeing more on the game before then. The Surge 2 is the follow-up to last year's original from German studio Deck 13, who also had a hand in 2014's fantasy Souls-like Lords of the Fallen. The Surge, though, is a science fiction take on similar ground, specifically a dirty, industrialised science fiction in a future of exhausted resources and big bolted exoskeletons. Humanity is hacked and upgraded with hardware, but you're the kind of cyborg that has all its parts showing. As with the first game, one of the distinctive points of the Surge 2 is the ability to target specific body parts with an attack that might not do as much damage but could disable an opponent and significantly increases the chance of landing particular loot. As with Nioh 2, the sequel will also introduce a player-built character. Say your goodbyes to the first game's Warren, if you can even remember what he looks like. Other changes include a doubling of the number of weapon types from 5 to 10, including the introduction of Bloodborne-style trick weapons. And Deck 13 seems focused on addressing the obvious weaknesses of the first game, grim factory environments and bland enemies, and the demo we saw showed off sinister artificial parks and stealthier opponents working strategically to bring out different flavours to the combat. The Surge 2 is aiming for a 2019 release. We're sticking with science fiction for our next game, Immortal Unchained. This is an original title from Toadman Interactive, and if The Surge is an oily wrench-in-hand kind of sci-fi, this has a more mystical, gods amongst the stars feel to it, more spiritually in line with the Souls series itself, you might say. In fact, there's a Demon's Souls flavour to the hub area, this giant hall with this giant monolith at one end. The monolith is the power that restores you when you die and links to other monoliths throughout the game's different worlds, where you can heal and level up. The biggest departure from the other games on this list, though, is that Immortal Unchained is also a third-person shooter. While there are melee weapons in the game, like these dual daggers, the bulk of your attacks will be gun-based. That also goes for your enemies too, so dodging and timing are crucial. Having played the first hour or two of the game, don't expect the shooting to be twitchy or even particularly shootery. It's more a variation on the Souls formula than a run and gunner, and it's fair to say this is a more modest production than the others on the list. We're not comparing like for like with budget and resources here, and Immortal Unchained has an experimental rather than polished edge. Immortal Unchained is the first on our list to be released and will be with us on the 7th of September. We finish with the surprise announcement from this year's E3, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the new action RPG by Dark Souls studio From Software, which almost certainly makes this the most Souls-like of them all. Sekiro is set in late 1500s Japan, the Warring States period, and you are hunting for the young lord, a noble in your care abducted by a rival clan. We've skipped the headlines here though because the most important news is that you have a cool fake arm called the Shinobi Prosthetic. This can manifest as a grappling hook, and in the demo we played I was surprised just how extensively and freely it was used around levels. Grapple points are marked by round icons which turn green when they're within reach. Moving between them is fast and fluid and can even be done mid-jump. Combat is very different too. We have a whole video dedicated to explaining the new posture system, but the basics are that From wanted to capture the spirit of sword-on-sword fighting. So while you can dodge and time attacks, as in say Dark Souls, to deal really big damage you'll need to destroy your opponent's posture by filling this bar. This is kind of like inverse stamina, and in fact there is no stamina in Sekiro. The bar fills when you hit enemies and when you successfully parry their attacks, and then slowly resets over time. Your bar fills when you're hit too, so trying to stun an enemy becomes a balance of risk and reward, probing for weaknesses and keeping your nerve. There are also elements of stealth, leaping attacks and ambushes from cover, as well as other abilities linked to your Shinobi Prosthetic. Do take a look at our other video for more details, and we'll have more from Sekiro ahead of its release on March 22nd next year. That's our look at 5 Souls-like games coming soon to PS4 and the things that make them different and in some cases the same. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, let me know what you think about these 5 RPGs in the comments, and subscribe to Access for more good stuff like this.
For the players.